Hello everyone, today I am going to talk to you through Morden test route number 1, and not only I'm going to drive through the route, but I'll give you some tips on the way. I am not going to waste any time and moving off because it can potentially be a slightly longer video, so we'll just start now and I'll just talk to you through on the way. It probably may be an easy start when starting in direction of Beverly Roundabout. However, Beverly Roundabout itself is not one of the easiest roundabout due to its complex layout. And when I say a complex layout, I'm talking about the road markings and the exits got on it. So I continue to drive in the direction of Beverly Roundabout, and I am going to take the 4th exit. Now the 4th exit is not as simple as it sounds, so I'm going to indicate right to start with. When I stop here at the roundabout, I have 3 options. So the left hand lane can only take you left, the middle lane can take you to the 3rd exit and the 2nd exit, and the further right lane, the inside lane, which I'm about to take, is going to take me to the 4th exit and potentially 3rd exit as well. Now if you look at the road markings are quite confusing. However, as soon as I come past the 2nd exit, I'm going to start going wider, but I'm not going to indicate until I've come past the 3rd exit. Now these bollards is where people get a bit thrown out, so you go down in 1st gear and just scroll through this tight gap. It's nothing big as far as you have practiced enough. And on this low Morden lane, you get a lot of meeting situation during rush hour and during the daytime on the test day. I'm luckily at quite a time at the moment, so but you always got to watch out for overspeeding oncoming traffic, buses, lorries, vans, parked cars, so you make sure you maintain your distance from the parked cars at all the times, unless the gap's very tight, so all you got to do is just slow down. The Morden test center itself has approximately 50% passing rate, which is not great, which also means only 1 in 2 people pass on the day, and it's kind of tricky because Morden test center itself is not one of the easiest. And when I say it's not one of the easiest, it's purely because some of the signings, road markings, roundabout layouts is a bit complex. So all you got to do is listen to your instructor, practice a lot, and just stay calm. Don't be nervous on the day, because nervousness is not going to benefit you in any way. It's an easy start still. I've just done the 4th exit on Beverly Roundabout, and suppose I'm following a navigation. That's what all my learners did on this test route, although they did change the test route at the end by few extra turnings, but 80 to 90% of this test route was almost the same. If we notice, we're doing about 20 miles an hour in a 20 zone. However, at this point you're gonna watch out for the speed limit sign, which says 30, and at the end of this road the navigation is going to tell you to turn left. So all you got to do is be prepared. Okay, now there's a meeting situation. The road is not very wide due to oncoming traffic. Okay, thank you very much. I check my mirror and I'm going to indicate. Right, we hit a dual carriageway here, and there's some heavy traffic on the right hand side, but at this point everything's clear, and I'm going to make sure I enter onto the left hand side of the dual carriageway. It is when doing independent driving, which is navigation based or following the signs, all you gotta be careful of, if the navigation is asking you turn right in 400 yards on a dual carriageway, you better start planning ahead now. So just now I'm going to plan ahead. I'm going to move myself onto the right hand lane while maintaining the speed limit, because if I leave it too late, if there's a queue of cars on my right hand lane, it would make very difficult for me to switch the lanes at the very last moment. Now just for the viewers, on the left hand side you see a travel lodge. That's the car park that the Morden test center usually use to carry out maneuvers, the forward bay or reverse bay parking. I'm going to indicate again because I have got to get into the right hand lane, which is a filter lane, and I'm going to turn right at this set of traffic lights. Now I have been in a 30-mile zone. However, as I say, the overall situation in Morden test route is not great, because normally learners are focused on the road ahead and the things, and they usually miss these 20 signs. So now the speed limit here changes to 20. I'm assuming again, I'm following navigation. I'm gonna turn left, take the first road on the left, and I'm gonna carry on following these cars. And that person thought that he can cut in front of me, but I had clear priority over him. Never mind. You see, you gotta have hazard perception in place. So I'm lucky that I caught that on the camera. So I've got cars parked left, right, a lot of possible meeting situations here. All you gotta take care when coming past the parked cars, that you leave a door length gap if possible. If not possible, just drop your speed, and tighter the gap, the slower you're gonna have to go. So we continue to follow these cars on a Morden test route number 1. A lot of bends on this road. As much as this drive may feel very easy, it's quite intense on the test day. It's just from the learner's perspective, and it's just that I gotta continue to talk to you through this. Another meeting situation here, and the traffic lights changed, so I'm gonna have to come to a complete stop behind these cars. Sorry for the weird silence, guys. And as I continue to proceed on this 20-mile zone, and it's looking like a very simple drive, the examiner is going to ask you to pull up on the left hand side when it is safe to do so. So you got to watch out that you definitely look for the safest spot, not a drive in front of a driveway, not a double yellow single lines, and make sure it's nothing marked there. It's a raised curb and there's nothing massively parked against you on the other side of the road, and while you park there, you're going to narrow down the road. So you got to watch out for these little things on the test day. It's just for the examiner to see how safely you pull up and how safely you move off. Now this is arguably the most trickiest exit on the Morden test center. As you can see, there's this map on the left hand side, and I'm going to take the third available exit because the first available exit is not available. It's a no entry, so we can't count them. So it's a right turn, third available exit. We're doing 20 in a 20-mile zone, and as I approach the roundabout, the speed limit changes to 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start indicating right now, and I'm going to approach this roundabout cautiously because it's ridiculously busy during the daytime. So I'm going to wait for all these cars, van, and then I'm gonna enter the roundabout when it is safe just now. Okay, now this is tricky. You got to stay on the inside, count your exit. So that's first exit, that's the second exit. You got to stay on the inside. It's very tricky with the right indication. At this point I'll switch the indication to left, but I will not enter just yet. I'll go and I'll enter onto the right hand lane. This is where most of the people cut the lanes and can't actually form a lane discipline. Now this is still a 30-mile zone, and I'm on the right hand lane of the dual carriageway. However, I will move back onto the left hand lane when it is safe to do so. Now at this point, assume you're still following a navigation. I'm planning ahead because there's a bus stop in my lane, so either I'm gonna have to overtake the bus. Okay, the bus started moving, which is good, but I will continue to maintain. Now, not the first traffic light, the first main set of traffic light at the junction, navigation might ask you to turn left, so you have to plan further ahead. If you are in the right hand lane, make sure you get back into the left hand lane. If you are in the left hand lane and the navigation is asking you to turn right in about 300-400 yards, you better plan ahead and get yourself in the right hand lane as soon as possible. And that's for one only reason, is that if there is a queue of traffic on the right hand lane, it may be very challenging for you to switch lanes, and making that judgment of to how close the car behind is, or whether they're gonna let you in, or either they're looking more committed to carry on overtaking you, it's gonna become very, very tricky. Now at this set of traffic lights, I am going to turn left. turn signal, and we wait in the queue. Now, so far, the speed limit on this road is 30. It used to be 40 quite a few months ago, but they've dropped it down to 30. And as soon as I turn, it's a 20 speed limit from here on. So please make sure you don't get carried away. It's kind of a downhill kind of situation here. So if you clip 21, 22 on a test day, you might get away with it. But let's say you ignored the 20 signs and you started doing 24, 25, approaching this crossing, going over the crossing, you have already failed your test, unfortunately, because you didn't take the speed limits into consideration. So we continue to drive at 20 miles an hour, and now we are going to approach not so tricky traffic light junction, but people do get it wrong, not knowing which side they gotta stay, whether they're gonna stay driver side to driver side or they're gonna stay passenger side to passenger side. The speed limit does change at this junction again. So this is something very tricky about Morden Test Center, that there's a switch of speed limits very frequently. So I'm going to position slightly to the right. It's not a rush hour, there's very less traffic today, so probably I might not have to stop at the middle of the junction, but I'm going to position myself in a way that I'm not obstructing the oncoming traffic, and the people who are following me at the moment can easily go past to go straight ahead. Right, guys, there's a lot to look out for. It's just not that easy, and to talk through every single thing, I've never done this before, but I thought I would rather just do it now to help my learners and anyone else who can benefit from this. I'm going to wait for this car, I'm going to follow this car. Now, one of my learner picked up appropriate speed because he thought it's still 20, so he started doing 20 for the whole stretch of the road, so he did get marked down for one minor there. However, it's 30, guys, and you have to produce an evidence on the day. The evidence is the 30 is not the target. So as far as you're doing 24, 25, that's an evidence that you're aware is a 30 speed limit. As far as the road conditions allow you to do so, let's say it's a queue of traffic or there's a hazard ahead, obviously you're not gonna go fast, so you may be doing 17, 16, just depends. Now, people talk a lot about Roseville Roundabout, and that's correct. It's poorly laid roundabout. It's got a hell lot of road markings to confuse the drivers, the learners, but we're taking Sutton. Now, the examiner said to my learner, stick to the middle lane. I suggest you stick to the middle lane and follow the road ahead towards Sutton. Now, it says on the road Sutton. Everything is fine here. However, some people do not have the best lane discipline, so they start going slightly left right. As you can see, it's not straight, it's a bend, and you make sure you stick to your lane. If you do not stick to your lane and you're getting closer to traffic on the left or the right hand side and you're becoming a clear hazard, the examiner might take control of the steering wheel or might steer you away or towards the other side to prevent a possible collision. So once that happens, guys, unfortunately that's a straight fail. So be very calm and composed on the day. Practice a lot. It's all down to practice, and the purpose of this video is to give you more and more local knowledge. So you see the Sutton is marked on this road, so I'll continue. The traffic light's green, but I anticipate they're going to change at some point, and they haven't changed. It's 20 speed limit on Roseville Roundabout, and this is also something that's changed a few months back. So from here on it's 30 again. This is what you're going to look out for, and then from here on I can pick up my speed limit again. Okay, I am doing approximately 25 at the moment, and from here I've got a plan ahead, and I can see the brake lights come on for the car ahead, so that's a clue. These type of clues you got to take into consideration. The car's parked, so make sure I leave enough gap and not get too close, because this road is fairly wide, and had some learners getting too close to these cars while trying to learn to drive. So there are always lessons on clearance and meeting situations. Okay, from here, once again, you've done a couple of complex things. You're driving, you're gonna go, the examiner is going to ask you to pull up on the left hand side, then move off again, then pull up. It's going to happen about 4 to 5 times during the test, so we're cutting all that off right now. Nice calm drive, lovely weather by the way, still summer, and Right, so at this point the examiner might end your independent driving, right, which is approximately 20-25 minutes, and they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna direct you from here on the pre-test that I set. And the examiner said, I would like you to take the second road on the right, the second road. So the clue is you do not indicate until you've come past the first exit, which is first road on the right, sorry. And I'll just start indicating at this point. Now the second road is the one on the right hand side that's going uphill. So I'm gonna make sure there's no oncoming traffic, and I'm just gonna follow this white car very nicely. It's not as easy this turn as it looks like, because when there's an oncoming traffic, and with these cars parked on the right hand side, the oncoming traffic position themselves more on your side of the road. Now at this point you enter the final third of the test, right? Because obviously we didn't carry out any maneuver, we didn't stop, we didn't do any show me questions. There's a lot more goes on at the beginning of the test. They make you sign a declaration, license checks, eyesight check, blah blah blah. You turn right at this junction, and now this road goes straight down to Morden Test Center. Now hopefully most people benefit from this video so far, but again, things may look very simple and you overly focus on something. Let's say there's a crossing there and someone just comes out of the left hand side and gets too close to crossing, gives you no time to plan ahead. You always got to anticipate, guys. Anticipation is the key. Anticipation, plan ahead. That's it. Get the right skills, and skills don't happen overnight, guys. You got to practice with your trainer, practice with your friends, family, siblings, parents, yeah. And that's it. Another crossing. So again, as much as these things may look very simple, these are the things you got to look out for. Going past the junction, mopeds coming out, cyclists coming out of nowhere, oncoming traffic, and sometimes you may be following a rubbish truck on a Monday morning. You never know. You may come across a blue light emergency, or a fire brigade or fire engine. So at this set of traffic lights, usually I would sit on the left hand lane, but I can sit on the right hand lane at this point because there's no car ahead. So if they were turning right at the right indication, sitting behind them may be quite stupid, because then they're gonna block me from going straight ahead. So this is all part of the planning ahead, guys. So wait for these set of traffic lights to change, obviously. If you sit on the left hand lane, these two lanes merge into one coming past, so this is something you gotta be careful at all the times. Luckily the car on my left hand side is only turning left, so what I'm gonna do as a learner, I would say show some good progress if you're the car ahead. If you don't show good progress, the people on the left hand lane are gonna start speeding up and gonna try squeeze themselves in. It's a good progress to start with, and you leave everyone behind. I'm not asking you to do a crazy drive, go from 0 to 30 in the second gear in space of 3 seconds, but like something where you're not being a hazard or causing a bit of confusion with the merge. On usual days, there's a school on the right hand side, and this crossing gets extremely busy with most of the people not actually crossing, but staying in groups right on the edges, so you're not quite sure about if someone's just gonna jump out. And a lot of cars and vans parked here, and a lot of meeting situation on this road during rush hours especially, so you got to make sure you don't get too close to the cars parked on the left hand side. Now there's a clear hazard on my left hand side with these cones protecting this parked vehicle, whatever, and this is where it gets slightly tight with the bus. Just stay back and don't push your way in. Simple roundabout, but not as simple as it looks. One final roundabout before you end your test. Stay calm, scan the road, best safe opportunity, make your way calmly, get into the next gear, and you're good to go. From here, again, the test looks very easy, but the test is still hanging there, right? Don't just assume you're within the final third of the test. You've driven brilliantly well. Anything can happen on test day. The examiner might ask you to pull up on the left hand side one final time along this road. Now if you see there are double yellow lines, you are not supposed to stop on double yellow lines or in front of a driveway, unless the examiner asks you to do so. Not on a double yellow though. So let's say the examiner is going to ask you pull up on the left hand side when it is safe to do so. So I'm going to check my mirror, I'm going to indicate, and I'm going to make sure I don't stop in front of a dropped curb. So here's this raised curb and not double yellow. I'm not obstructing the traffic. As you can see, they can comfortably go past me, these two cars. Okay, drive off when you're ready. So I'm going to check, indicate, and I'm going to move off, final check. And that's it. That may be your very last tricky bit, but it does not end here, because I've had a learner who drove brilliantly and he also passed the test, but it got very tricky towards the end of the test. So this is the with the ASDA on my left hand side, this is the very last bit of the test. So let's say like the final stage, when you used to play video games back in the days, the final stage. So you sit on the left hand lane, potentially you're gonna be pulled over on the left hand side, or maybe asked to go past the traffic lights and turn left in one of the roads wherever they find convenient. Now what happens here is there are two lanes here, they merge into one just coming past the traffic lights, and with the cars parked on the left hand side in the bays, red marked bays on a red route, you are the one, if sitting on the left hand lane, who's got to cause the merge onto the right hand lane. So either you show good progress and get in front of the car on the right hand side, or drive straight, check your mirrors, indicate, and start positioning yourself onto the right hand side. By signaling, you're making things easier by letting the people on the right hand lane know about your intention, so they might drop back a bit and give you an easy space to merge in. So let's say you're in the last minute of your test at this point, and the traffic light is gonna change, so stay very okay. The traffic light changed, so I'm gonna go. I'll let this blue car go ahead of me. There's a moped on my right hand lane. Okay, I'm gonna indicate, so the moped's gone past me now, and there's a white car. I've merged in front of a white car. At this point, let's say the test comes to an end, I'm gonna turn into this road on the left hand side, and the examiner is going to ask me to pull up anywhere in front of a driveway or whatever, and they'll say at this occasion pull up on the right hand side, and you've got back to your test center, and eventually you'll get your test result. I hope everyone enjoyed this video and they can benefit from this, and if you really liked it and if there's something you didn't understand, you can leave me a comment below and I'll make sure I can clarify something if that's causing confusion. And best of luck to anyone who is about to take the test. Bye.